My name is Connie, and I'd like to give you a brief tour of my rain gardens. This is the first rain garden I built. It's very informal. None of them I built have been anything very structured. It just starts with a low place in the yard, and then as I need soil, I take it from that spot. This has a gigantic button bush that's done very well in this spot. There's also some Siberian iris and some goldenrod and some palm grass. And a few other little natives have gotten lost in there underneath the button bush. The button bush is just a wonderful plant. It's a Missouri native. It seems to like this spot because of the occasional flooding, and the bees just love the flowers. They're really cool looking, even though they look a little bit like coronavirus. But this spot in the yard used to be a stream every time it rained because the neighbors in back of us, their yard is much higher, so we always get all of their runoff. And there was a natural stream that went through here, so I just took advantage of that and made this a deeper area. So after a heavy rain, it will have water in it for a few days, but then it goes away. So mosquitoes haven't been a problem, and it does absorb a lot of water. In the upper level of our yard, this is another rain garden that has been produced just because I dug out a bunch of dirt whenever I had the chance. There's a little bit of a berm here that was formed from some leftover dirt after construction. So I had the guy who put in our patio had some extra dirt, and I just told him to put it up here so he could catch some of that rainwater that falls off our neighbor's hill. Then I planted a couple of cypress trees, bald cypress, and they really like having their feet in the water on occasion. And then a bottle brush buckeye, which is one of my favorite plants, along with the button bush. It's just doing beautifully this spring, and it also likes the occasional wetness, and it's doing pretty well in the shade. Also, you can't really see it, but this area here forms a pond when it rains a lot. There's a lot of lizard tail in there. It's kind of taken over, but if it wasn't there, you could see the round area where there's a pond when it rains. Again, the water just stays for a few days and then it sinks in. And I also put in a little tree, another native. Missouri natives seem to really do well up here. They're very hardy compared to anything else I've planted, so I really like it when they do well. This is another area that I've developed into a rain garden of sorts. It's in the front yard, so I don't think water stands here very often. But I cut off the sump pump that used to dump into the street, and I've cut it off halfway down the yard so that it just dumps into the yard. And then planted a variety of things, gray-headed coneflowers and New England asters, some sea oats, of course the lizard tail, which be careful if you ever plant lizard tail. It seems to do extremely well everywhere and take over. And then another little tree that is a sassafras. It's very happy. So the ground cover here, I think, is probably not a Missouri native. I think it is some kind of buttercup, but it does very well here also. So I just let it go. And Amsonia blue star also is very healthy, takes over pretty rapidly. But we used to have a lot more water dumped out into the street, but now it just stays in the yard. So I'm pretty happy with this. It's worked out well. And that's less grass we have to mow.